Looking forward, rapid changes are taking place in the global monetary system that may affect the international role of the dollar in the future. Most major economies already have, or are in the process of developing, instant 24/7 payments. Our own FedNow service will be coming online in 2023. And in light of the tremendous growth in crypto assets and stablecoins, we are examining whether a U.S. central bank digital currency would improve upon what is an already safe and efficient domestic payment system. As our white paper on this topic notes, a U.S. CBDC could also potentially help maintain the dollar's international standing. As we consider feedback from the paper, we'll be thinking not just about the current state of the world, but also how the global financial system might evolve over the next 5 to 10 years.
Bienvenidos a otro episodio más de Fórmula Bullish. Como bien lo dijo Jerome Powell, cambios rápidos se están produciendo en el sistema financiero que pueden afectar el papel del dólar. La mayoría de las economías ya tienen o están en proceso de desarrollo para pagos instantáneos, 24 horas, 7 días de la semana. FedNow empezará a dar servicio en 2023. El crecimiento de las criptomonedas y stablecoins o monedas estables. Y se está examinando un CBDC o moneda digital del Banco Central de los Estados Unidos. Y sí, amigos, son puntos que ya hemos tocado en videos anteriores, que no son nuevos en este canal. Ya muchas veces nos los han dicho, y es ahora que se están implementando y son parte de nuestro futuro cercano junto con la regulación de las criptomonedas. Y parte de todo lo que está sucediendo. La guerra, escasez de alimento, problemas en la cadena de suministro. Es como vamos a llegar al reseteo financiero, en donde las predicciones del Fondo Monetario Internacional nos lo advirtieron. En 2030 no tendrás nada y serás feliz. Y sí, si volteamos a ver la vida actual, donde pagamos suscripciones por películas, música, autos, entre otras cosas, y en efecto, pagamos hipotecas por una casa que renovamos a los 30 años y esto vuelve a empezar. Analicemos un poco más lo que está pasando en el mercado. Todo esto no es nuevo, es parte de un ciclo que concluye y otro que empieza, solo que con tecnología nueva y cambios importantes. En un análisis del mercado, vemos los bull y bear markets desde 1926 y podemos observar claramente cómo se repite la historia una y otra vez. Cómo los ciclos alcistas duran en promedio 10 años, mientras que los ciclos bajistas un año y medio aproximadamente. Como ya lo hemos analizado en este canal, la Reserva Federal de los Estados Unidos los últimos años imprimió millones de dólares a manos llenas, que inyectó a la economía, y parte de esta impresión de años y años es lo que está provocando la inflación y estos ajustes. O más bien, intentarnos distraer para realizar el cambio al nuevo sistema financiero. En el siguiente video veremos a Kevin O'Leary y su perspectiva sobre el mundo cripto.
Volatility is because we don't have the institutional bid.
I do want to talk more about policy in just a moment, but before that, how should retail investors be thinking about this sell-off? Is it an opportunity to buy at a discount, or is it just too risky to make any sort of bet at the moment?
No, I mean, everybody has challenges with volatility, but I remind everybody, just go back 17 years to a stock called Amazon. It also corrected 38 to 50% every year for 12 years in a row as people tried to figure out what this new entity was. And so there's always tremendous volatility in new and nascent technologies and new markets. And crypto is a new market. I still predict in 10 or 12 years, it'll be the 12th sector of the S&P. There's just too much productivity opportunity here around payment systems and all kinds of other attributes of these blockchain projects that we just don't yet know what the upside is going to be. And I'd argue this, if you go to any graduating class, particularly now, it's very timely to say this, ask any engineering cohort, you're going to find a third of the engineers go onto the chain. They want to work there. They don't want to work in the other 11 sectors of the economy. They want the opportunity to create something new. And that's why you've got so much intellectual capital going into this space. You know with certainty down the road that the next genius ideas are going to come from this. any college, any university, any engineer, they all want to work on the chain.
¿Quién es Kevin O'Leary? Bueno, Kevin es un empresario canadiense que impulsa proyectos de emprendedores en Canadá y muy conocido por participar en Shark Tank. Kevin nos habla de las criptomonedas y su percepción sobre el mundo cripto y cómo, cuando existe un producto o empresa nueva, existe una volatilidad extrema, como Amazon, que durante 12 años su acción subió, bajó aproximadamente 50% o más. Nos habla también cómo una tercera parte de los ingenieros están trabajando en la construcción de un nuevo ecosistema y no en los otros 11 sectores de la economía que ya existen. ¿Y por qué? Porque no hay marcha atrás, amigos. Es lo que viene y va a ser un cambio enorme en nuestras vidas.
And I don't want this to sound trite, but let me explain how bottoms are made in any market. I don't care if you're in equities or in debt or in crypto or in real estate. You always need a big player to go to zero. That always helps, whether it's long-term capital or whether it's one of these crypto infrastructure companies. I would like to see, and I don't want this to happen, but it always gives you a good bottom when you get a large player over-levered that goes to zero. And that always tends to be the beginning of the rebuilding process. So if you have to sacrifice someone who used too much leverage, and it's always leverage that does this, somebody's over-levered, positions are complicated, they're not transparent, they're not liquid, and they go to zero. Someone is out there on the brink of zero. That's okay. In fact, I'd argue that's a good thing when we get it. Now, do we get it this week? Do we get it next week? Someone's going to zero. I don't know who. But it'll be great for everybody else that survives because everybody will learn from that. And that's what I like about a washout, an event. And I think we're due for one in crypto land. And I don't know who it's going to be, but I guarantee you 100%, I've seen this movie before, you will learn later that somebody put on a heavily levered position, they got wiped out. And it's good. It's a good thing.
Y sí, nos están diciendo que en el proceso alguna gran compañía deberá irse a cero para comenzar la reconstrucción o quizá la regulación. Así es, ahí tenemos la narrativa. Díganme, ¿qué activo que nadie se esperaba se fue recientemente a cero? Sí, Terra Luna. Entonces, ya tenemos la receta perfecta para justificar la regulación de los criptoactivos, que de todas formas ya se veía venir con el ISO 222 y con la orden del Poder Ejecutivo de los Estados Unidos. Y lo mismo sucedió años atrás con Enron, Lehman Brothers. ¿Se dan cuenta? La historia se repite una y otra vez. En noticias de Ripple en días recientes, el CEO de Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, nos habla del mundo cripto.
Company right now is it's not clear where the rules of the road are, and you have some examples where regulators are going after companies, and then you look at another company doing almost the exact same thing and they're not saying anything. And so the first thing I think about really is just consistency. So everyone has a firm set of rules to follow. As you and I kind of were discussing backstage, I think the vast majority of people in the crypto industry want to play by the rules. Let's just be clear about what the rules are. So the first thing I think of is just like, let's be super clear about what we're trying to regulate.
Básicamente nos dice cómo XRP es tratada con todo el poder de la ley, mientras que Ethereum está libre de pecado y nadie dice nada. Y es muy fácil, existe corrupción en el sistema. En mi video anterior te lo explico a detalle.
I think important points around frauds or scams. In this case, you have almost 70,000 people who hold XRP in the United States who are trying to sue the SEC for harming them.
Right.
So, it's a little confusing why the SEC would spend a lot of time and energy on that when we do actually have some things happening in the market that maybe do deserve more scrutiny.
Y sí, en verdad la SEC está gastando mucho tiempo y energía en el caso Ripple, cuando hay miles de cosas sucediendo en el mercado cripto y no sucede nada adicional, y creo que tiene mucho que ver con los intereses escondidos. Sigamos viendo esta entrevista.
But let's
let me ask a little bit more then on this. So you are obviously someone who's been in this industry for a long time. You know how to talk to the regulators. You wear a suit. You do everything in that way. But how well do you think the rest of the crypto industry is engaging with regulators and with this problem? Because it feels to me like for a lot of it, as for a lot of parts of the tech industry, they'd just rather the regulators went away.
Look, I actually came to Toronto yesterday from Zurich. I was at a central bankers conference in Zurich, and I was thrilled by the reception, in part because they're inviting Ripple to attend. I was on stage with the CEO of Crypto.com. The CEO of Binance was in attendance. And so I think there's a genuine thirst. And again, this was a central banker conference organized by Switzerland and Singapore. There's no real surprise there. They're leading and saying, hey, let's engage private and public conversation to figure out how the rules should work. And let's make sure we have actors who are trying to live by those rules. But my experience truly has been, for Ripple anyway, once we meet with regulators, central bankers, and help them understand, here's how our technology works, here's how we are using the open source technology of XRP, they get very comfortable, because the regulations I think most regulators care the most about are know your customer, KYC, anti-money laundering, AML, terrorist financing. Those are very important foundational regulatory frameworks that don't change in how Ripple goes to market. And I think all crypto companies probably could do a better job of understanding those are regulatory frameworks that aren't going to go away in any of the G20 markets.
All right.
¿Y qué es lo que necesita el mercado cripto, según Brad Garlinghouse? Estructura y regulación. Y para allá es a donde vamos. Me despido no sin antes agradecerte por el apoyo al canal. Si te gustó el video, te invito a darle like, comentar y compartir. Nos vemos muy pronto.